everybody, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the dresses that I created for the day and night dress challenge. I was invited to participate in the day and night dress challenge this year by the wonderful Elizabeth from Elizabeth Made This as one of the featured vloggers. This challenge encourages you to make two dresses, one for the daytime and one for the nighttime, and this year's theme was coffee and cocktails. So the daytime dress is a dress that is super comfortable, something you can just throw on and leave the house and still look really nice, but something suitable for a coffee date with your girlfriends. And the cocktail dress is obviously a dress for the evening time, something you can go out in on for a night on the town and have fun and look really, really nice. I chose to theme my dresses, and I did that because I had two fabrics in my stash that were very similar. Those fabrics were the Robert Kaufman Essex Metallic Linen, and I got that from Hearts Fabrics, which is one of this year's sponsors for the challenge. And the other fabric is this gold sweater knit that I got from fabric.com. And this is a very thin but very stable sweater knit. One of the most stable sweater knits I've ever sewn with. You could totally leave it unhemmed if you wanted to. And it's nice and stretchy, and it has kind of a metallic print on top of it, which is really cool. The two dresses that I made were, first for my coffee dress, I actually self-drafted a dress, and if you stick through to the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to draft your own version. And then I made the named Kielo dress for the night dress. I'm going to talk about the night dress first so that I can talk all about my coffee dress all at once when I'm showing you how to draft it. I was really, really happy with the Kielo wrap dress. I made the sleeved version of it. They offer the sleeves as a free add-on on their website. And I also shortened it slightly, and to shorten it, I basically chopped it off at the cake pleat that there is in the back. There's like a little slit for it to make it easier for you to walk because it's quite a long dress. And so I chopped the dress off right there. I think that the named dress is so flattering, and it's really, really easy to make and easy to fit even for a beginner. You can make it with a woven or a knit material, and because of the way it wraps around, you control the fit. You can make it tighter, you can make it looser, and it just really hugs the body and looks really, really nice. I actually made this dress back in December, and I made it really quickly. It went really fast, and I actually wore it at New Year's, and it was the perfect fancy dress to ring in the new year. For the day dress, I decided to recreate my all-time favorite dress that I wear all the time. Whenever I want to look nice and I'm going somewhere, I pretty much just throw this dress on. And this dress actually has a pretty interesting story. It is given to me as a hand-me-down by my sister, and she actually found it in a thrift shop, so it was a hand-me-down to her, and the dress is handmade. It is very obviously handmade. There are no seam finishes on it, so sadly, with the incredible amount of wear that I give the dress, it is wearing out, and I need to do something to repair it because the shoulders seams are pulling apart. But it is such a wonderfully casual dress, and you can do so much with it because it's very simple. It's basically a Caftan style dress, and there are no sleeves to set, there are no zippers or buttons or anything else to get you into it, just a little bit of elastic around the waist for shaping. And I've already recreated this dress once with some fabric that I found in Washington, D.C. at an African fabric shop. This fabric has a gold foil print stripe on it that's really cool, but the most cool part of that fabric is that the bottom of it is laser cut with a lace pattern. So for that version of the dress, I didn't have to hem it at all. I just left the lace as the hem, and it's so beautiful. That's the great thing about this pattern. You can use really, really special fabrics for it, and you let the fabric speak for itself. For this version of it, I self-drafted another pattern using a little bit more math, whereas last time I just kind of traced it, so that you guys can draft your own version of it as well. For this version, I used the Robert Kaufman linen, and I chose to use bias binding around the neckline and the armholes instead of simply hemming it. I also chose to add a band to the bottom, which I did simply by chopping my pattern off at 4 inches and cutting a 9-inch piece of a different fabric. And then when I sewed the band on and then folded it back up on itself in order to encapsulate the raw edges. For the binding and the bottom band, I used just a plain black linen. This dress especially let the lesson of my first version of this dress show you. It is a great place to learn to practice your seam finishes. In my second version of the dress that I have, I used French seams because it was a much lighter weight cotton, and this dress being a heavier weight linen, I used flat felt seam. The sewing of the dress is really simple, so I'm not going to do a full tutorial on how to sew it, just this tutorial on how to draft it. Basically, you want to sew it at the shoulders, then sew it at the sides, and hem it, and that's really it. You can choose to use a bias binding for the neckline, or you can choose to hem them back. And if you choose to hem them back, I would hem the pieces individually before you sew them together, just for a nicer finish. The other thing that I did differently to this dress is how I put the elastic in. In the first two versions of the dress, the elastic is literally just zigzagged into the dress. To do that, you quarter the elastic and bunch it up to the quarter points of the dress, and as you sew, stretch the elastic with a zigzag seam. If you use a matching thread, it's really not noticeable once the elastic gets gathered up. But for this one, I chose to use an elastic casing and actually put it on the outside of the dress in order to form a visual waistline. To place the elastic on the dress when you're sewing it, all you have to do is put the dress on and then put a safety pin in the side seams where your waist is. Then I actually took the dress back to my ironing board, folded the dress at the safety pins, and ironed a crease into it so that I had a little visual guide with which I sewed my elastic casing on, or you can just sew your elastic in. I will say when you're choosing the placement of your elastic, actually go a little bit lower because you want the dress to be able to blouse up a little bit on the top. And that's another feature you can do. You can actually choose to make the elastic high and make it an on-pier waist dress, or you can choose to make it even lower and create a more blousy, voluminous top. This dress can actually be made in as little as 1 yard of fabric, and that is dependent on the length and depending on your size. I wasn't able to do it in a yard with a 44-inch wide fabric, but if I were to have used a 56-inch wide fabric, I would have been able to have it be done in 1 yard. Because I know that not everybody likes math, although I do show you the math in this process, there will be a link up on my blog to a Google spreadsheet where you can put in your numbers and have the Google spreadsheet do the math for you. And now I'm going to show you how the drafting for this dress happens. Okay, so for this pattern we're going to take 6 measurements and we're going to number them A through F. The first measurement is the width of your neckline, so take a measurement from the point of your spine out to about where your trapezius ends. You don't want to go out too far or the dress will fall off your shoulders. Measurement B is going to be your neckline depth, and again, you don't want to go too deep here or else you might worry about the dress falling off your shoulders. I only did about 3 inches. Measurement C is going to be your bust measurement, and just take that as you standard would over a bra you would normally wear. And then measurement D is going to be your bust apex length. So this is going to be measuring from the top of your shoulder to the widest point of your bust, that length, and that's going to determine the depth of the armhole. Measurement E is going to be your standard hip measurement around the widest part of your hips. This is going to make sure we have enough ease to wear the dress. And measurement F is going to be the length of the dress. To measure the length, I like to flip the measuring tape upside down so that the 0 is hanging down where I want the dress to end, and then I just place my finger on the measuring tape at the top of my shoulder to find out how long the dress is going to be. Okay, so now we're going to write down all of our measurements. Reminder, measurement A was the neckline width, B was the neckline depth, C was the bust, D was the length to the apex of the bust, E was the hips, F was the dress length, and don't worry about G for now. For measurement A, we're going to subtract 1 inch to allow for some seam allowance, and we're going to do the same thing to measurement B, but only subtract 1/2 inch. To measurement C, we're going to add 6 inches for ease, and then divide by 4 so that we can draft the pattern as a quarter pattern, and add 1/2 inch for seam allowance. We're going to take that answer for C and write it down for G. For measurement D, we're going to subtract 1/2 inch for seam allowance. And for measurement E, we're going to add 15 inches for ease and then divide by 4 in order to allow for a quartering of our pattern and add 1/2 inch of seam allowance. For measurement F, we're going to add 2.5 inches, and this is for our hem. And to measurement G, we're going to add 3 inches, and this is going to allow us to get some width to the sleeve. Okay, now it's time to draft the pattern, and I'm just showing it to you on notebook paper, but you can draft your pattern on pattern paper or even directly on the fabric itself. I drafted mine with the pattern paper folded in half so that I would be able to draw just a quarter of it and my resulting pattern would be perfectly symmetrical. First, you want to draw a measurement down the folded edge of your fabric or your paper, and that is going to be measurement F, the length of the dress. Then you want to draw a line straight out from the top mark, the length of measurement G, and a line straight out from the bottom mark, the length of measurement E. Sorry that you can't see it on my camera. Then you want to measure down along the fold, the length of measurement D, and draw a line straight out from there, the width of measurement C. Along the top line, you want to measure out the length of measurement A, and then along the folded side edge, you want to mark out the length of measurement B, and draw a slightly curving line connecting the two for your neckline. I like to use a French curve to get a really nice shape. From the end of your top line, draw a line straight down, and then a few inches before line C, slightly curve it back in towards line C. Again, I use my French curve to get a nice curve here. Last, you want to draw a line straight from that point all the way to the bottom point of your dress. If you want, you can curve it out a little here, flare it, or make the bottom part straighter. And it's as simple as that. I really hope that you guys liked watching this video, and thank you so much to Elizabeth for asking me to be a part of the challenge this year. Make sure you guys go on Instagram and check out the hashtag Day and Night Dress Challenge to see all of the dresses that people created for this challenge. And make sure that you check out Elizabeth's blog, elizabethmadethis.com, in order to see all of the entries from the blogging and vlogging team that she put together. It was an amazing group of bloggers and vloggers, and I had so much fun getting to know a lot of them throughout the challenge. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also please tag me on Instagram at MsJenMakes if you make a caftan following these drafting instructions. And don't forget to click subscribe to see more sewing videos and content like this. Thank you so much for watching.